Stop estate agents overvaluing. Today, I'm joined by Paul Leslie, who is an estate agent from West London. He is passionate about customer service and he believes that I shouldn't let estate agents anywhere near the valuation. It should be like Scotland, where an independent person goes in, and from that, customer service, good customer service and communication will flow. Paul, talk to me.
I think that typically estate agency is looked upon as a sales industry, and for me it isn't a sales industry. 9 times out of 10, if people walk into the right house and get that feeling, that house will sell itself. Yes, a good agent will negotiate you the best possible deal and identify the best possible buyers. But for me, it's a customer service journey in taking those people from, and some people, a lot of people wouldn't have necessarily sold in 20, 30 years, taking them through the process, hand holding them, explaining to them how it perhaps differs now from back then. And buyers as well. Buyers sometimes don't know anything about the process. So it's about giving them as much information as possible.
In all the estate agency surveys, the biggest criticism that estate agents get from homeowners is a lack of communication. How can estate agents improve their communication?
So I think lack of communication and lack of trust on the communication piece.
Surely one does the other, doesn't it?
I think, oh, yeah, of course, yeah. You build, the more you communicate, the more credibility you build with anyone, I think. In terms of the communication piece, one of the valuable lessons I learned from London Underground when I was working there, and it wasn't part of a training course, but the biggest, on a train and somebody was delayed in a tunnel for 3, 5, 10 minutes, their biggest bugbear was that the driver didn't say anything. They said, we don't care if they would just go on the mic and say, I don't know what's going on, I'm trying to provide information, and just not leave them hanging. And again, I think that estate agents are guilty of not communicating.
Well, it's like we don't mind waiting 10 minutes for an Uber, but as long as we know it's on the way.
Exactly.
And it's like those dot matrix on the Underground. I don't care it's 8 minutes, but at least I can see it counting down.
100%. Yeah. And I just, so just saying something. So for example, even when I'd have to have difficult conversations with no viewings, no inquiries, that person is still getting a call to say, listen, this is what we're doing in the background.
Is that vendor contact?
Yeah.
I mean, does it scare you that estate agents probably only ring their vendors, if they do at all, once a month?
I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, we set up WhatsApp groups with everyone. They get in contact sometimes on a daily basis, but even then, we'd still like to have a bit of a catch up once a week.
Why don't you think estate agents? Is it because it's, pile them high, list them?
I think that's part of the reason, and it's all target driven. So that becomes customer. A consultant came into the office when I was with Middlesex FA and talked about the Net Promoter Score, which I'd never heard of before. And actually, you have to be a 9 or a 10 on the Net Promoter Score to be somebody that's going to refer your business. Anyone 8 and I think down to 4 is just passive, neither good nor bad. They're not going to slag you off and they're not going to promote your business. And then anything 3 and below is their detractors. They're going to tell people never to use you. So to be a 9 out of 10, that's going some. And that's why I don't think many agents or many of the public would say their agent was a 9 out of 10. Is it realistic to get to 10 out of 10? I don't know. But we strive to be a minimum of 9 out of 10 day in and day out. And
if the one thing that they should change is communication, do you think that's the big one?
Yeah, and just treat. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the word vendor, or we try and call everyone customers, whether that's buyers, they're customers as well, whether they are paying clients. Treat everyone as a customer, and I think that would change the mindset.
In a previous video, we talked about the fact that you genuinely believe that estate agents the person who lists the property should manage vendor manage the property, should even take the offers and sort the viewings out and everything. Do you think the fragmentation of the estate agency job roles has been to the detriment of customer service?
I think so, and ultimately the amount of sales that go under offer and then complete. I think that it's always, and we would always go through this journey when I was with the relocation agency, and it was, if there was multiple points of contact, that would always be the first thing that somebody would complain about. But if there was multiple points of contact and each of those was a subject matter expert, there wouldn't be that feedback. So I think that maybe it's not realistic to say that somebody can look after the whole process, but if they're getting put in touch with a subject matter expert at each juncture.
If you could have a choice of the three main roles are valuer, negotiator, and sales chaser, which two should come together?
Lister and negotiator, without question. Yeah, sales. We outsource our sales progression as well.
Two
Sales progressors, they're called.
Okay.
Aptly named. Elliot there is. I've never known anything like it. He actually loves sales progression, which is a bit weird, and he gets paid per exchange. He
has skin in the game.
Has skin in the game. His client care levels are off the radar. He's an invaluable part of our business.
I'm of the opinion, but I'd like your opinion, that quite often a neg doing sales progression is probably not the best thing, because it's always the last thing that seems to get done, and then all of a sudden it's all these extra days that make up the average of 19 weeks.
Yeah, this is not to slur on any sales progressors out there, but I talk about 9 out of 10 needing to be a 9 out of 10. I don't think a sales progressor necessarily needs to be a 9 out of 10 day in, day out. They can just be a boringly consistent 7. But to talk about before I was outsourcing it, I would let days, weeks go. I might be the best sales progressor on the day that I chose to do it, but if that's once every 2 weeks, that's not enough. So having somebody that's boringly consistent is much better than having somebody that's brilliant and only does it every other week.
So your mandate, if you were president of UK Estate Agency, is sort your communication out to create a legacy product where the valuer and the negotiator is one and the same person, and then potentially outsource the sales progression where there's skin in the game. And in a previous video, you said you're keeping it together with reservation agreements and also material information up front.
I think so. And if controversially, if I was to pick one thing that would revolutionise the process in this country overnight, is stop estate agents valuing properties. You stop that, I guarantee the whole dynamic changes. Like in Scotland, an independent valuer goes out there, puts his PI on the line for the valuation. People can pay above or below it, but then you're picking your agent based on their customer service level, their ability to unlock a little bit more money, the person you trust most, not the person that's giving you a nonsensical value and tied you into a long-term contract.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.